Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3. And today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto Was Betrayed by Hagoromo. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. And yeah, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was the direct descendant of the sage over an anime king. All links will be down in the description, so go ahead and enjoy. And also guys, later I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto was too advanced for his age over an anime king too. So stay tuned for that and I hope you guys enjoy. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Red Crimson eyes open, as whatever it was sensed the power that Naruto was giving off. As it realized his father was back. All over the elemental nations, different reactions was going on. At Kiri, where the war was happening, the eastern seaboard was being lifted, as it seemed like nature herself was fighting against something terrible, whatever it was. Even the leader of the Akatsuki felt it, as he didn't know what this power was. The rain that he was currently controlling at the moment, it was gone. He didn't tell it to go away, he didn't stop it, but it was gone. Something was really wrong. Being the only god in this world, he knew that this wasn't his doing. So if it wasn't him, who was it then? Meanwhile, back towards the scene, as Naruto stood there, he screamed out Hagoromo and Hamura, but none of them answered. As Naruto then started to surge his power, he told them that he would destroy everything if they don't show their faces. As two orbs appeared, with the forms of the silhouette forming to show Hagoromo and Hamura standing there. The others are surprised, especially when Naruto spoke, saying people see him as a god of this world, a sage of six paths. That threw them for a loop, as Naruto got angry as he told them his experience of being trapped in that seal. No matter how he fought and begged, no one answered his call, and he suffered. He suffered beyond disbelief. Hagoromo thought that Naruto has lived a life, and seen what it feels like to be a part of humanity, so he wouldn't do anything too dangerous. A small tiny black ball came near to hand as he launched it towards a nearby city, and it exploded. Hundreds of lives wiped out within a second as Naruto got a cruel laugh. Mito tried to stop him as Sasuke got himself involved as well. Naruto grabbed the both of them by their throat and lifted them off the ground. As Hagoromo and Hamura noticed something, he wasn't trying to kill them. Jiraiya tried to stop him in the underground swamp, but Naruto simply stand on it, and that was impossible. Tsunade tried to punch him, but she felt like she was hitting steel, as Naruto simply tossed the two kids to the side, as he promised them that he would create chaos and havoc on this world. And with that he flew away, as Mito couldn't believe it as she watched her brother leave. As Hagoromo and Hagoromo started to tell them what they don't understand, what they were missing, they were surprised they were still here. Naruto being in the same womb with Mito, given his chakras very potent and latched onto many things. She had his chakra inside of her, but it was dormant. Not enough to really fight him or anything like that, or to use it to the point of getting that much major boost, but she had it. Sasuke had it flowing through the mark on his neck, that was slowly developing in his system. But Hagoromo knew, despite the both of them having that, him and his brother was not able to beat Naruto in a fight. And he has surely gotten stronger with his power being sealed away for so long. It was just growing. The magnitude of it was just endless. But there perhaps is a way. As Naruto isn't fond of humans, and he let them live. He still remember himself as Naruto Uzumaki, but his pride as Naruto Osusuke just wouldn't fall. So this girl is your best chance of stopping him from completely destroying everything around. Naruto made his way as he was interrupted by Black Zetsu. He almost killed him, as Black Zetsu told him about Mother, Kaguya and everything. As Naruto released him, He told him that he didn't have the power to break the seal, as he just continued what he's doing, and with that he walked off. At the moment he's busy. In truth, Naruto had the power to do it. As Naruto noticed that he was bleeding from his nose and his eyes, something was wrong. But he wouldn't let something like that weigh him down as he continued his journey. And Naruto wasn't going to bring Kaguya back, even though he had the power to. Why would he bring her back? After all, she wanted to turn everyone to white Zetsus. That wasn't what he wanted humanity to understand and bow down to him as a god that he is. Time passes, Mito and Sasuke made their way back to the village, as Hagoromo and Hammer told him that they would be in touch. As Tsunade took up the mantle as Hokage, as the village leader, especially in this time, Yujito didn't know where she fit in, as she was just there, as she didn't know what to do. As Sasuke was there for Mito, and Haku as well. Haku was going through a lot as well, as she couldn't believe it when it happened. She thought that Naruto went off somewhere before he came back, but hearing this just broke her heart. She didn't know about him, but she loved him. She didn't know if he'd feel the same way, but she just wanted him back. As Naruto made his way towards a hidden sound, where the sound 4 went out to stop him. Naruto had made a promise the moment he got out he was going to kill that snake freak, as he dared try to pollute and take over his body. So yeah guys, so it's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across to the PlayStation sector for yourself. So this is the beginning of this new episode. At the moment, Mito was currently in her room. She knew that they all wanted to be there for her, but she just wanted to be alone. And she didn't want to be a bother, a hindrance on any of them. Despite putting on that brave persona, she felt so alone. She felt so much pain. She grew up with him. He was always there to protect her. He was always there. He loved her and she loved him as well. He was her big brother after all. But now he was gone. And she just didn't know what to do. She didn't know how to get him back. She knew that she wasn't even near his strength to get him back. She couldn't even beat him in a fight. She knew that. And what if she did? If she captured him, he wouldn't want to stay here. He wouldn't want to be her brother anymore. And she released a deep sigh. I'm surprised at that voice. Mito didn't bother to look around as she knew who that voice belonged to. I assume that you know about this, she asks. Yes. But I thought it would never happen, so I remained quiet. Well, it doesn't matter now, said Mito. You know, your older self will be disappointed. Huh? As she was talking to the fox inside her stomach at the moment, confused what he was talking about. You were so determined, so brave, to do what it takes to achieve your goals. But now you're just giving up. What? Who said anything about giving up? Well, you might as well just say that after all. You look like you gave up all hope already. I mean, you're lying here, thinking that there's nothing that you can do to help. When? The fate of this world, as much as I don't want to say it, it rests on your shoulders. Remember what the sage told you. Despite this other self of him coming out, he still remember who you are. It is just Osusuke Naruto doesn't respect or see humans as any equal. But he still has the same feelings of Naruto Uzumaki. It's just that his personality has become twisted and they have combined. And the stronger one has prevailed. So, are you going to allow him to stay like that? Or are you just going to give up and allow this to happen? Seems like you've already given up. Well then, I suppose there is no point. You should just let everything happen like it's supposed to happen. Because soon enough, he's gonna lash out. If he already hasn't. After all, he hates humans. He's gonna make sure that this world turns into nothing but pure chaos and havoc. And many will die. And none of us can do anything to stop him. Mito got to her feet. But I can't, she said, as she clenched her fists. He's still my brother despite everything. I will find a way no matter what. The fox smirked to himself. Seems like his little talk worked and gave her back some, well, hope. Meanwhile, at the office, Tsunade was currently sitting down at the desk. Sitting down on the couch, well, he had to sit down after what he just heard, was none other than Kakashi. Kakashi was beyond shock. When Jiraiya had told him that they were going out to find Tsunade, he never expected this to happen when they returned. And now he sit here, completely at a daze. After the things that he just heard, the Sage of Six Paths, Naruto being a Some sort of god, a demigod, that was sealed away. It sounded fake and impossible, but they wouldn't lie about something like that, as Jiraiya was sitting on the windowsill. So the reason we call you here, Kakashi, said Snazzy. I want you to go along with Jiraiya, Sasuke and Mito. Kakashi narrowed his eye. Go along? Yes. A 3-year training trip. You will be a big help in helping Sasuke control the Sharingan of his. And you will also have 2 other teachers popping in every here and now. You mean? Snazzy nodded. They said that they will help. And we're gonna need all the help that we can get. You already know that Naruto is powerful. And with this mindset that he currently has, this world will be surely doomed if we don't find a way to stop him somehow. Kakashi nodded as he understood. Wait, he said, how would we contact them? Well, said Jiraiya, they will be the ones to be contacting us. As he flipped to the other side of the window, I'll go inform Mito about this. After all, she should be eager to get stronger, to get her brother back. Snazzy glanced towards him. She just hoped whatever the sage had in mind, and this kind of training, she hoped that it would somehow work out for the better. As she remembered the blonde that she spent the entire week drinking with, he was nothing like the one that she saw and spoke to. That was someone completely different, despite the sage telling them that they're the same person. And his personality is just twisted at the moment. But if the sage and his brother couldn't do it, how could they stop Naruto with strength? Well, she supposed they could not. They would perhaps have to stop him another way. Meanwhile, that was going on. At the hidden sound, Naruto was currently surrounded as he was standing there, his eyes not even looking at his prey, because that is what he saw them as, his praise. If they think that they could cower him into submission or something like that, these people are surely stupid. As Naruto took a step forward, it was then that Jirobo moved forward. Don't worry, I'll take care of this, he said, having no idea who Naruto was. Knowing that using his power scare off people, as he kind of liked the fun, the excitement of seeing these pitiful human eyes when you understand how far out of their league they were. Don't let us wait, Fatso, said Teiwaya as she crossed her arms. What have I told you about the nickname? Shut it, Fatso, and get this over with. Jirobo grumbled something, but he didn't say it out loud as he made his way forward. Meanwhile, Kabuto was packing as fast as possible the things that they need to get the hell out of here. As Orochimaru was moving and packing things as well, the essential that they need from this lab. This was their main base of operation, but they had to flee, given the purse that was coming. At the door was Kimimaro, to spare them time just in case. Orochimaru knew that Kimimaro didn't stand a chance, but if that involved him escaping, he didn't really care. Kimimaro, go and scrum job everyone that is here, even the cursed warriors, and send them. All of them, my lord? Yes, all of them, said Orochimaru, every single last one of them. Kimimaro nodded as he never sees his lord so panicked before. This person must be really dangerous. Well, it doesn't matter, he will use his life to protect his lord, no matter who the person is. On the inside, Orochimaru was sweating, as he couldn't afford to be killed right here and right now. He remembered that power output when he felt it. Nothing. Everyone felt it. There was no end to this monster's power. People might see him as a monster, but that boy, he was a devil in disguise, and Orochimaru had to leave immediately. Kabuto's thoughts were not far off. Meanwhile, as Naruto came to a stop, when Jirobo suddenly swung his fists, seeing that he already warned him to stop, but Naruto did not, so Jirobo's fist slammed into his face. As Naruto simply stood there, Kimimaro narrowed his eyes, along with Seigon. He didn't even flinch. To think, Jirobo moved back his hand. A disgusting vermin like you will lay your hands on me. Go on your knees and beg for my forgiveness before I kill you. Jirobo narrowed his eyes. This guy must have lost his marbles or something, he says. He glanced towards the group. But that was the wrong thing to do, take his eyes off Naruto. Jirobo blinked. Teiwaya's eyes went wide. As Jirobo looked down, a hand was protruding through his chest. Blood burst from his lips, flying towards Naruto, but it was stopped, and simply went down towards the ground, not even touching Naruto's clothing. Naruto pulled back his hand that was unblemished. Not even a drop of blood. Drobo fell down as Naruto raised his foot. Squash! Drobo's head exploded as he squashed it. The other three members looked in shock. Drobo was their heavy hitter, but for him to be taken down so easily. Kimimaro leaped back as he quickly produced strange arrows made from liquid from his mouth. With his bow and arrow, he fired it towards Naruto as a grin came on Naruto's face. "Let's see if you guys can be any fun," he said. As he caught the arrows, two of them. The third one, he leaped as he brought his foot down and smashed it to pieces before he tossed the other two. Kimimaro ducked as they flew over his head. The group watched as the arrows ripped through a tree with such force it just kept on going. Kimimaro turned back as he was grabbed by the throat. As they quickly realized they shouldn't take their eyes off this boy, Naruto lifted him up off the ground. Smash! His entire body embedded in the ground. Immediately, Ukon separated from Seikon. Knowing what to do that Naruto's back was turned, Ukon quickly leaped into Naruto's body, as he had the ability to enter his opponent's body. But that was the wrong thing for him to do. As Naruto turned, as he saw a hand protruding from his stomach. Ah, to possess one's body that is stronger than yours. It's a shame that you're too weak to do anything while I do this. As Naruto's skin started to turn red, Seikon, "Something's wrong," Ukon said. "Brother, what's happening?" "Seikon!" Ukon screamed as Naruto's skin turned completely red. As Ukon came out of him, dropping to the ground. Burn marks, third-degree burns all over his body. As Naruto smirked. After all, he was the one that allowed him to do that. It wouldn't be fun if he didn't get a bit of challenge, even if he had to hold himself back a bit. Seikon's eyes widened as half his body was already transformed of his brother leaving his body. He had a hand and leg that was made out of a strange material. Its curse mark activated. "I'll kill you," he says as he moved forward. Naruto picked up the shard remains of his brother and tossed him. Seikon had to catch his brother. Only four. Bam! Teiwai watched in shock as Naruto kicked Seikon head off, as both bodies dropped to the ground. Raising his hand, a black spear was raised as he tossed it. It ripped right through Kimimara's skull. Teiwai stood there, as she couldn't form the words to say. Her hands were shaking, she couldn't even pull out her flute. As she narrowed her eyes towards it, before quickly looking back towards Naruto. Naruto stepped forward as she backed away, hitting a stone as she fell over, trembling on the ground. "Now that's what I'm talking about," said Naruto. "That fear. When you humans understand that you're completely outmatched." Naruto then dropped to his knees as he started to cough up blood. Once again, it's happening. He looked at his hand. As he clenched it, something was really off. He couldn't even use some of his abilities. Something was happening with his body. And he needed to find someone. "You, woman, are you a medic?" She wasn't saying anything. "Woman, answer me," he said. "No," she said to him. She was always the loudmouth, the one that is always cursing, but seeing that display of strength, despite him just falling down, she knew for certain one wrong move and she was dead. As her hand trembled, her body was not allowing her to move. What the hell, she couldn't even move a single muscle. Naruto stepped forward and grabbed her by the throat as he picked her off of the ground. She started struggling and gasped her ear before he pulled her close. Despite how vermin and disgusting you humans are, the female flesh is still something to admire. And I will need powerful offsprings. The females cannot be something untouchable. But you were trained in the arts of a shinobi, despite being pathetically weak. Well, at least I can change that. As she felt a burning sensation before she dropped down to her knees panting. What did you do to me?" she said, finding her voice. "I rid you of that disgusting snake," said Naruto. "Now, bow." She reached to touch her curse mark. "I said bow!" She quickly went to her knees as she lowered her head, her entire body trembling in fear. She couldn't find it in herself to defy him. She couldn't even glance at him at the moment. This fear was overwhelming. She had never experienced something like this before, not even with Orochimaru. Just what kind of a monster was this? Now tell me, is there any medic over there near to ask? Yeah, stop stuttering. Yes, she said. A medic, his name is Kabuto. Naruto picked her up by the back of his shirt. On your feet, he said. As she did. Not facing his gaze, she was afraid too, as her body was still trembling. As she felt his hand roam over her arm. He seemed to be looking her over. She didn't know what he was looking for. Perhaps he was satisfied. For my desires. Now come, he said. As he started to walk. Teiwaya's eyes glanced towards her flute. This was a perfect no. What the hell she was thinking? For one thing, she couldn't believe it, the curse mark was gone. That means she didn't have to fear Orochimaru anymore if she ran away. But could she run away from this one? He was not facing her. He had such confidence that she would not run. Or was it because he knew that he could just find her and kill her at any time? She decided not to act on that instinct, as she decided to just follow behind him. She had felt it a moment ago when he screamed at her. A presence that she never felt before. Something that shook her to her very core. It made her seem like an ant in front of a mountain. And for that she would not go against him. The both of them made their way in relative silence. He seemed to be nowhere he was going. You. She stopped looking up. Yes? Address me properly, human. That is master to you. She gritted her teeth. This was really embarrassing. Human, I am speaking to you. Yes, master, she said. Once again she felt it, making her certain that this wasn't a fluke. There was a power that seemed unlimited, something that her mind couldn't even fathom. Stay here, and if you try to run, I'll slaughter you, he said. And with that he simply walked off, leaving her standing there, her entire body trembling in fear. She didn't know what to do. She was so afraid. In her life, she had only been afraid twice, and that was when her home was burned and destroyed, and the time that she messed up her mission and came back to report Orochimaru and released such killing intent on her, she wanted to take her own life. Other than that, she wasn't afraid so much anymore. But now, just standing in this boy's near presence, she was afraid. Completely and utterly afraid. She sat down as her knees curled up to her chest. Boom! A massive explosion went off as she saw bodies in mid-air falling to their death. Meanwhile, as Naruto looked around, bodies were scattered everywhere as these people dared to address him like they were anything special. These humans need to know their place. Naruto's eyes scanned the area. His Renny Sharingan glanced around before they looked underground as he saw through the ground as he saw the snake that he was looking for, along with the 4-eye one. He remembered that boy being called Kabuto. Yes, he still remembered him from Chunin exams. Vaguely though. He still remembered everything Naruto Uzumaki knew. He still remembered everyone at the Hidden Leaf. He cursed himself. Why was he feeling this way? Nostalgic. That wasn't his home. He didn't have a little sister. He didn't have friends. He was a god amongst pure humans, and he will rule as the god that he is. Slamming his foot on the ground exploded, ripping apart, creating a large trench. As Naruto hopped down into a strange sewer system, it was an underground tunnel. The moment he landed, bones sprang up everywhere. The bones slammed against his skin, trying to pierce him, but they broke. Kimimaro stood there in shock. How could someone's skin be that hardened for it to break his bones on contact? Ah, I see. You have mother abilities, but they seem to be much less deadly. Human, who are you? Well, if you want to know, my name is Kimimaro Kaguya. Kaguya? Naruto started to laugh. You even have mother's name. Mother? That name belongs to my clan. Oh. So mother bloodline was passed down. That's surprising. Naruto reached and broke one of the bones and picked it up. But these aren't as deadly as hers. As Naruto held out his hand, a strange bone came out of his palm. I hate this ability. It's too... one kill. I mean, what's the point of fighting if you could kill someone with just one simple attack? Why not enjoy and relish the fight? Don't you think, Kaguya, said Naruto with a smirk. Kimimaro didn't know why he found it so amusing. It doesn't matter, said Kimimaro. Orochimaru Sama told him to not hold back against his person, as he quickly entered stage 2 of the curse mark. Not wasting any time, I won't allow you to get towards Lord Orochimaru. Kimimaro shot forward, only for his face to be grabbed, his eyes widened. Such speed. His head was brutally smashed into the wall. As he felt everything spin, his body was picked up and tossed, breaking through a cavern, going into a separate room. The moment he got up, slam! Naruto's face slammed into his gut. He reinforced it with bones, but all of them shattered upon impact. Naruto coughed up blood once again. As he went low, causing Kimimaro to twist his arms, 2 bones coming from his palm as he dragged them down. He stabbed it into Naruto's back, but they broke once again. Kimimaro then noticed that his skin was a strange silver color for a second there. Naruto wiped his mouth. So I can still control my ability. Only some of them. Damn it. Hagoromo, Hamura. Seems like you're still screwing me. Naruto glanced towards Kimimaro. Kimimaro didn't know what happened, but his body was broken through the wall as he was sent sailing, passing through the bones of the hideout, slamming into the foreign wall as he kept on going. He tried to reinforce his body with his bones, but they were shattered from the force. The next thing Kimimaro knew, he was nothing but broken bones all over, as he lay there in complete shock and awe. Never witnessing someone with such power before. You do have mother abilities, but they're too pathetic to be deadly towards me. I suppose the other weak worthless humans. Naruto drive his hand forward as Kimimaro blinked. Even now it's still beating, said Naruto. Humans. As he felt Kimimaro heart sped up. Well, at least you're afraid. When you know that it's time for you to squelch. As Naruto crushed Kimimaro's heart before pulling out his hand as he wiped on Kimimaro's robes. The entire underground bunker then exploded as Naruto repelled everything, touring through the ground. Meanwhile, Kabuto and Orochimaru were running when they heard something behind them. Kabuto quickly pulled a kunai. Lord Orochimaru. Orochimaru stepped back as he threw the kunai at the explosive tag. It exploded the ceiling. For the both of them to jump up. The moment they did and leap to the side, a massive force came bursting out, rooting up the entire ground as dirt spread everywhere. Rocks being turned up, trees being ripped apart. As the both of them glanced up to see what they could only describe as a god descended upon them. It was the boy. You thought you could run from me, Snake. Orochimaru was surprised. He thought they would at least buy him some more time. So you found me. I'm curious, how did you? He said. Because if he got away, he really didn't want him to find him again. You don't deserve that answer, pathetic human. I don't see you groveling at my feet. Huh. You're different, Orochimaru said. Yes, I am. Because I fought you back then. I wasn't myself, but now I am. And what's that supposed to mean? I made a promise to myself that I would kill you the first chance I get. You try to invade this body, trying to pollute its mind with your disgusting self. And if there's something I hate even more, it's human trying to push past their limits, trying to understand things that are not given to them, things that are beyond them, just because you people were gifted chakra by my stupid, idiotic brother. Orochimaru's eyes narrowed at that. Your brother? Don't interrupt me, human. You people think that you're on my level. But it doesn't matter. You Come here. Kabuto narrowed his eyes. I'm afraid I can't do that, he said as he activated his chakra scalpels ready for a fight. I wasn't asking. Kabuto felt his foot lift off the ground as he was yanked. He quickly twisted his arms to impale Naruto, only for Naruto to slap away his hand as he grabbed him by the throat. He slammed his body into the ground and stomped on his throat. I don't need you dying yet. Orochimaru was amazed as he took a good look at Naruto's eyes. Those eyes of yours, they're quite exquisite. Flattery won't help you, human. Now, bow down and die. Oh, so it's not an option. Bow down and live. No, just die. Well then, I'm afraid I can't do that, Orochimaru said, as he suddenly burst into a massive pile of snake as they all started to spread out. Naruto simply stepped forward as he grabbed one of the snakes and picked it off the ground. The snake mouth opened wide as Orochimaru slipped out of it as he landed. How did you? You think you can fool me? With a simple stomp of his feet, flame erupted as all the snakes were burned into a crisp. Orochimaru launched himself towards Naruto as snakes came from his mouth to bite on Naruto's neck. Naruto simply twisted his body as he slammed his fist into Orochimaru's stomach. Orochimaru's eyes bulged as blood exploded from his lips. Naruto twisted over and slammed his heel into his head, cracking his skull, as his body slammed down with a force that shook the ground a bit. Orochimaru quickly opened his mouth wide as another Orochimaru slipped out, looking heavily damaged. He was already weak because he needed to switch body, not to mention his arms, and now this. If you think you're gonna be taking me down that easily, you're sadly mistaken. Orochimaru said as his body started to shed before it exploded into something. Naruto looked up with a smile on his face. It's been a long time since I fought a massive beast like this, he said, as Orochimaru turned into an 8-headed Hydra. He came out of one of the Hydra mouths as his tongue. And this will be the last time. Whatever you're talking about, I don't know. But you won't be leaving here alive, Orochimaru said. For one thing, that body of yours will be mine! As all the snake heads came rushing down. Naruto glanced towards the medic, as he couldn't allow him to be killed. As Kabuto was getting up, Naruto slammed his heel into his stomach, kicking him as Kabuto was sent sailing, only for a clone of Naruto to poof into existence and grab Kabuto by the back of the throat, before slamming his head through a tree branch, knocking him out cold, as he held him by one hand. The snakes all breathed hot flames from their mouth. Naruto smirked as he leaped up in the air. Blood exploded from his mouth, as his head went dizzy for a second. The snake's head all crashed into him. Its body was set like a meteor as it slammed into the ground. The snakes bared their fangs except for the last one that Orochimaru was in, as they slammed into the earth with a new vigor, only for three of them to explode. As Naruto burst out of the crater, his body twisted as he slammed his heel on one of the heads that went sailing down. A black rod cracked in his palm as he stabbed it right to the head, before he called. Its staff appeared in his hand as he brought it down. Electricity teared from the sky itself as Naruto struck it on the snake's head. The snake's head exploded. As Naruto spun his staff, a wave of wind exploded from a tip that sliced another one. Twisting, Naruto evaded every strikes. Before it happened again, more blood started leaking from his eyes and nose and mouth. But he was laughing, enjoying the fight after all. If a fight is not to the death, it wouldn't be fun. As he shot forward the last three coming down towards him, he flipped. They crashed in the earth. He held up his hand in mid-air. A black disc was created. As he twirled it forward, it ripped through the remaining snake's head as they dropped to the ground. Leaving the one in the center, as Naruto shot himself towards it, he stabbed his staff right in the center and ripped it open as he dived inside. It only took 3 seconds. Boom! The snake guts and everything was blown to pieces. Something quickly dropped to the ground in a heap. As Naruto landed on his feet, he quickly dropped to his knees and started to cough up more blood. He got up with a bloody smile. At least humans are good for entertaining, despite how weak they are. Orochimaru was now in his true form. Disgusting as I thought. He was made up from all white snakes. Your body will be mine, he says. He launched towards Naruto. But he was stopped. As he looked down, half of his body was frozen. As Naruto's feet was producing ice that froze the entire ground, that froze half his body. Before Naruto stomped his foot again, the ice turned to lava. Orochimaru screamed and flapped around as a half of his snake was incinerated within seconds. As Naruto smirked, his eyes pulsed. Orochimaru's blood then turned to spike as it stabbed into his body. To think you humans have even gotten some of my abilities. Hagoromo. I created all of this. I name each and every one of these things you come to make people call Gekigenkai. And you pass on my abilities and allow people to have them like they're some toys. As Naruto smirked, it doesn't matter. At least now I'm free and there's no one that can stop me, he said. As he held out his hand, Orochimaru was nothing but a pile of mess now. Suddenly, Orochimaru's head was yanked as Naruto grabbed it. Before his hand turned an ethereal red, as he shoved it right into Orochimaru. Right into his snaky chest. Orochimaru's eyes went wide. What are you doing to me? To ensure I won't see her disgusting face again. As Naruto pulled back his hand, all light left Orochimaru's eyes within seconds. As Naruto tossed the body. In his hand was a strange blue orb. It was Orochimaru's soul. He started to apply pressure before, boom, it exploded. Disgusted, he said as he started to walk off. A few minutes later, Kabuto was snapped from his unconsciousness when a hand slapped him across the face. His entire cheek felt like it was destroyed. He woke up completely startled. Kabuto glanced towards his master that was literally torn in pieces. What have you? He was grabbed by the throat. If you talk, and I don't give you permission, I will tear your head from your body. Be quiet. Kabuto looked into the eyes of death itself as he turned towards Naruto fully. His entire body shaking in fear. An overwhelming feeling that he just couldn't understand was pressing down on him. Scan me and tell me what is wrong with me. At the moment I can't. Hurry up, human! Kabuto was confused. Hurry! As he quickly did as he was told though, his hands shaking slightly as his hands started to turn a green color. Before he scanned over Naruto's body. As Naruto released his throat, he was able to talk but he would not. He just felt a pressing aura that was forcing him to be calm, and he was afraid. Being around Orochimaru for as long as he was, people would be surprised that he was afraid, but he was. He was afraid. He was scared. He then pulled back with a look of shock on his face. How are you? He was slapped across the face. I told you not to speak unless I told you to speak, human. Blood started to leak from his mouth, as he didn't say a word. Now tell me, what is wrong with me? Your chakra coils, they're constantly being destroyed. Over and over. There is chakra being pumped into your system at a constant rate. From somewhere I'm not sure. But it's too much and your coils are being destroyed and they're reforming. But as long as your chakra continue to produce in that rapid rate, your coils will be continuously destroyed. Until your chakra fully stop and stabilize. Even in the grave you still screw me, Hagoromo, said Naruto. As he understand what was wrong with him, it was this body. It was still too weak. He never experienced the amount of power that he possessed. So at the moment it was struggling to keep up. And all of Naruto's chakra hasn't fully settled down yet. And with the amount of chakra he had, it will take years before this body fully adapt to all of it. As he cursed. And given that it was his own chakra, there was nothing that he can do against it. Or even speed it up. This body would just have to mature. He closed his eyes. Even though that Kabuto was there, he didn't see him as a threat. As he could sense it. At least 2 or probably 3 years. He cursed as he got to his feet. As Kabuto slowly got up, ready to run as he looked around. As he didn't want to stay here. That feeling that Naruto gave off, that feeling of death, was just too oppressive for everyone. Kabuto had to know. What? He shouldn't have talked. Slice! Naruto sliced Kabuto's chest open in his hand that was coated in wind chakra. I told you not to speak. As Kabuto fell to the ground, as Naruto started to walk off, not caring if he was dead or alive. Meanwhile, Teiwei was still sitting down, as she hadn't moved. Woman! She looked up as she saw him, floating off the ground. As he landed down, go to the village and get all the ninjas in order. As Naruto smirked, as he looked up, he did promise Hagoromo that he would bring chaos and destruction. Having an army to cause pure chaos and destruction and burn this world, burn everything innocent and good about it, would be exactly him fulfilling that wish. Get everyone in line, all the people as well. All the civilians, they will bow to their new god. This place shall be my domain, said Naruto, as he looked over the city of the sound. He would change it, of course. After all, he would have to settle down for a while, given his state that he was in. But that didn't matter. These humans were too pathetically weak to even serve him, so he would have to make them stronger. As Naruto grabbed her by the shoulder, she flinched, but it wasn't anything bad. Calm yourself, woman. As his eyes closed, Teiwei screamed when she felt it. An overwhelming presence entered her body. It was too much for her to bear. She screamed on top of her lungs. He released her as she dropped to the ground, panting. What did you? You will be one of my first disciples. I have given you a taste of my power, so you won't be so weak and worthless serving me. As much as I find you humans disgusting, at least you have my trait. Something that makes you more powerful. Teiwei felt strange as she felt her body constantly shifting. Pick yourself up immediately. She got to her feet slowly, as she felt her coils straining, but yet she felt the rush. As she felt her body, her every instinct on edge. She could hear things far away, she could see things far away now, and very clearly, her movements felt light. Her body felt so powerful. You humans. Get a small taste of power and you think that you're unstoppable. Now, do what I tell you to do. I'll be back soon, he said. And make sure everything is ready when I'm back. As Naruto reached out, he gripped onto mid-ear. What the hell, she thought. As he ripped the ear open, she saw a strange black void just floating. He reached inside and pulled out something. She stepped back. It was Orochimaru's head. He tossed it to her feet. Let your people understand who is in charge now. If I come back and they show any amount of disrespect, you will be punished. Am I understood? She nodded. I said, am I understood? Yes, master, she said, lowering her head. That's more like it. Now go, he said. Yes, master. She went off. Despite feeling completely humiliated, she felt so much more powerful. She's never felt power like this before. She felt unstoppable. This was even beyond the curse mark. Beyond anything she ever felt before. Now she had to get these people in line, or all of them, especially she, would be doomed. Time skip. As Naruto touched down in the mountains of Kimimaro no Kune, most people would think that these mountains were just normal mountains. People would not even bother to investigate. But what they didn't know was, as Naruto landed in front of a large, massive stone that seemed like a regular stone, placed his hand on it, Naruto absorbed all chakra from the Fuinjutsu inside, ripping it away as the stone started to shift. He then pulled his fist back as he smacked it, breaking it down. As he stepped inside, the mountains had built and shifted and changed. Inside there was a large monastery. This is where they used to live. From his first glance, Naruto saw 3 kids running around, with over to the side their mother watching, her gaze always cold and calculated. He saw himself, always trying to pick a fight with Hagoromo, Hamura, always being the one to calm them down. As he saw the patch of earth that was there, he knew that his other brother, Hamura, had made his way on the moon to watch over Mother's ceiling from the tail beasts. As he got that, seeing that the sage spoke to his tail beasts like they were actually his son, speaking to them like they were nothing but mindless chakra. How stupid he was. He made them that way. Of course he would see them as his son. But Naruto didn't really care, as he glanced towards Hagoromo's grave. In a million years he never thought that he would be the one standing here while Hagoromo was now there. He thought that he would always be trapped, to ever suffer the fate of just trying to be on top, of even helping his brothers. After all, he was the one that stopped it. He was the one that asked him to join him, even when he had the power to completely erase him from existence. And now, he was the last one. Naruto's eyes pulsed as the entire grave site exploded. As he clenched his fist in rage, the entire monastery exploded. Everything was blown to pieces as the mountain shook violently. Blood exploded from his lips once again as he quickly wiped it away. Every time he used his chakra so much, it's surging. But he didn't care. A simple pain like that would not hold him back. Weakness was for humans, and he was not weak and pathetic. I told you if you came back, I will slaughter humans just to make you feel bad. Please, I just want to talk. As Naruto glanced behind him, there was Homura, in that strange ghostly form once again. Talk? About what? You need to stop this. You've already done so much, killed so many. Can't you see that you're doing the wrong thing here? That might have worked if you guys had joined me back then. And I would have listened to you and seen you as brother if it was someone else that sealed me away. But it was my own family. My own family that I stopped fighting for the sake of being a family once again. Look, I knew that we wronged you. I knew that we did the wrong thing. Hagoromo won't admit it because he's too proud. He's too proud to think that he did the best thing for the world. And what do you think? Well, I guess you made your choice. Brother, you would have ended the world. You would have caused so much chaos and mayhem. We are not humans, Homura. We are gods. We should not stand as humans and pretend to be them. I guess I was just not worthless and pathetic as you and brother. But it doesn't matter now, because all of that is about to change. And what about Mito? Why do you guys keep bringing her up? Do you think I'm gonna have some sympathy and say, oh, I'll change my ways because of that girl? She means nothing to me. None of them does. You didn't kill her. You have so many people back at that village. And you didn't kill them. You left those people behind even as much as you hate humans. Why? Naruto said nothing. You see? You do care. You were never one shy of words. You always know what to say and when to say it. And now you're struggling on what to say because you know that you're doing the wrong thing. You know how much you must miss your little sister. She's not my sister, said Naruto. Then why didn't you kill her? You know, I should just go and kill her right now, said Naruto, and prove you all wrong. Homura decided to make a decision. He didn't know if it was a bad one, but this could probably help them. Then go and do it then, he said. Go on. Go and kill the person that loves you so much in this world, and the person who you're afraid to admit that you love as well. Naruto started to laugh. What's so funny? Oh, you just reminded me about something. There's someone in the village that I need to pick up. What? You thought I was gonna change? When will you get it to your head, brother? I'm not Naruto Uzumaki. That was just a persona that was born in this world to understand and feel different than how I felt. You know who I am. You know how much I despise humans. Do you think that was gonna change overnight? Why don't you and Hagoromo continue to scheme and plan? Because I'm looking forward towards it. I know that you're planning something trying to take me down. I am waiting for that day. I'm waiting to see you guys do whatever you do, just to watch me rip it to pieces. For you to understand that nothing can stop me. Homura sighed as Naruto's eyes pulsed. Be gone. I'm done talking to you. But brother, be gone, Naruto said, as the place shook. As Homura slowly vanished with a disappointing sigh. Hours later, Naruto found himself inside the Namikaze household. His entire body was cloaked. No one could literally see him. As he was standing there, out in the training field was Haku. He cursed himself at this strange feeling that he was feeling as he gripped his chest. There the feelings again, but this one was different. He shook it off. He came here for a reason as he made his way. He stopped in the hallway when he saw Mito. She looked sad. She passed him by, not even noticing him. As Naruto's ability to completely erase his senses, if he had known about the second Tsuchikage, he would have known that the man created a weaker technique than his. The Tsuchikage could erase his senses as well, but Naruto's abilities run different, led to completely erase everything. Sound, everything around him, as he could just watch and observe. At the moment it was hard to do this, because his chakra was currently fluctuating, and it felt painful, but he would never admit to something like that. He was a god, he doesn't bow down to pain. Pain bow down to him. As strange as it sounds, he believed in those words. Humans were the only things that experienced pain to him. When he fought and bled, that was the joy of the battle. As he watched Mito, find himself staring at Mito and Haku for a while, before he shrugged it off as he made his way to the room. Meanwhile, Yujito was sitting down. She really didn't know what is exactly going on with her. These people were her captive right here, and yet she was feeling so sorry for them. She could use this chance to escape and run away, but the month that she spent here with Haku, the girl spoke to her like she was her friend. And she played board games with her. Despite she wasn't into it at first, she got love playing shogi with her. She released a sigh. She just wished she would come back. Here she was thinking that she wanted that boy back. At least it would make Haku and Mito feel, She was cut off as something placed on her mouth. A hand. She looked around slowly as she didn't see anything. She wanted to move, but something else gripped her as her vision went black. Time skip. Yujiro started to swirl and turn as she looked around, confused as she was. So you're awake. As she glanced, she was leaned up against a tree. Naruto? Where the hell am I? She didn't realize. Naruto, she said, she got to her feet. As she narrowed her eyes at him, he was just standing there. He wasn't saying anything as he looked down, before he shook his head. Speak to me properly, human, he said. What? She was slapped across the face. As she held her face in shock, I said, speak to me properly, human. I don't know what the hell is going on with you, but your sister and your girlfriend at home misses you. I know it's not my problem, and I shouldn't care, but she was slapped across the face again. Stop doing. She was slapped across the face once again. I said, speak to me properly, human. What are you talking about? Address me with proper respect, or she was grabbed by the throat. Kitten. As her eyes widened, she wasn't able to contact the Nebe in the past month. Nebe, is that you? Look, do whatever he says. Just do it. Call him master and do whatever he wants. This isn't someone that you want to mess with, but just do it. I'm sorry, she said, as Naruto released her. Sorry what? Master, she said as she lowered her head. That's more like it. At least you human females have one thing going for you. Your flesh is desirable. She narrowed her eyes. Did he mean? But guys, be in subscribe right here. For what's the next part, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn the bell notifications to stay posted. But for now, see you guys soon. Peace.